Hello, it's our TED Talk class, and today's topic is how to get better at the things you care about. And we have a link to the video in the description, and we have a volunteer to retell us the gist of the video. Vasants, please.
Okay, in this video, the speaker said about improving our our quality of work and learning process. So he said, instead of doing the same work again and again, just invest some time to make experiments and doing mistakes, so that you will learn something from your mistakes, and it will help you to improve your work. So that is the basic point of this video.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments, thoughts, anything new?
I just mentioned that it's a trap we all fall into. I've been in the nuclear business 35 years, but in the last 5 years of my work, I really never learned anything new. I was just using the same skills over and over and over from my previous knowledge. So his point is, most people learn enough to do their job in a minimum way, and then they quit learning after that. And after 10 years of experience, they really haven't learned anything in the past 9 years. So he's trying to show us how to overcome that trap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But why it's trap? Maybe it's a goal of our life. What do you think?
Laziness is a trap.
Okay, but why?
Because he says that we plateaued, and plateau is not a very good thing. So you do not progress. You are just staying in this muddy waters all your life, just not going anywhere. So if you do not progress, then later you will regress. So that was his point as well.
Okay, I understand his point, but I also have seen many people who was happy in current position, and for them it looks like they don't want any progress. So, what do you think? Is it possible to reach some point when you don't need any progress at all? You are just happy. You will be in this plateau for a long time and will be happy. Is it possible? Leila?
It may be possible when people are really, really old and they don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm. So you think it's related to age, right?
I think so, because I never quit learning.
Mm-hmm. So if it's related to the age, give me a number. When I should be quiet?
I don't want to talk about my, just experience, not to annoy you, but I watched my dad. And he had just studied, worked all his life, but when he was at the age of 89, 90, he stopped. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't even want to listen to the news anymore. So I think it is related to the age. This is my opinion, at least.
And I agree with you, but I want, numbers. Which age I should reach to say it's enough?
It depends on the person, Ivan.
So
I
no
think
answer.
It depends. For example, in my country, usually people at the age of 70s, they stop, just learning and they want to get retired, stay at home, or traveling all over the world if they have money. I watched that.
Mm-hmm.
It scares me, to tell the truth.
Diana, I don't know what is the year. Okay.
That was Russian keyboard, it was not
Okay.
English. Cyrillic, sorry. Yeah, I think it's not like age-related thing, because I've met some young people, young students who didn't want to learn anything and to do anything, who were just lazy to their bones, So, and this is the story, the true story from my experience. I was a teacher on the language courses, and I had 74-year-old student, this lady, and her favorite activity was to to look up the words in the dictionary, to look through the dictionary and search for some connections between Russian and German, because she was learning German language. So, and she was so inspiring for young students. I had like kids, with her in the same group, and that was amazing. And she was young, really like willing to learn, willing to make this progress, right? To do something and to learn something new every day. So it does not depend on age. So.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
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 Hello, how are you guys?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, this is Aisha from Morocco.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice to meet you. Mhm.
Okay, I hope you introduce yourselves to me in order to be friends. Okay.
I'm Gerard from Spain.
From Spain.
Okay, Aisha, let's do it a little later, after our class. Let's speak about our topic, and after I will introduce each one to you. Okay. Aisha,
Okay.
Aisha, can you see our chat, our text chat in the Hangouts?
Okay, could you please, because I cannot listen to you very well, could you repeat please your question?
There is no question yet. It was a suggestion. I suggest let's introduce each other a little later. Now we have a class about about some video. We discussing some video, and we have a questions. And please participate. Please answer the question. If you want to say and you cannot, please write in the chat. Okay.
Okay, so you what do you want? What you want now is that I make video call. Video call exactly, or what?
What I recommend for you? Please listen for some time. You will understand what we are doing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So we have a video to discuss, and it's about what? Into words. About learning process, about all such things, and we have a list of questions filled before the class, and we are trying to discuss those questions. And let's start from Vasants. Vasants, please choose one from the list.
Okay, we are.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, I choose Gerard's question first, the 8th one. Which zone are you more comfortable in, the learning zone or the performing zone?
Could you answer?
Yes, learning zone. Yes, learning zone is, yes.
Why?
It's always, actually, it always excites me because performing zone is boring. You are doing the same thing again and again. But learning process gives you a variety of opportunities when you are doing. So it's an exciting one.
Sergey, what about you? Sergey? No chance. Okay, Leila, can you please explain us what is learning zone? What is another one, performance zone?
In general, learning zone is the process in which we are learning a lot of things about work, maybe parenting, maybe creative hobbies or something like that. When I take my job into consideration, learning zone is a lifelong process for me. And performing zone is the practicing part for me. And I love learning zone, and I love performing zone as well.
Aisha, do you understand the question?
Not really. Could you clarify, please? Because look, when Mr. Vasan speaks, I listen to English mixed with Indian language. So I need to
I know.
clarify, please.
It needs some practice, but you know, it's not about Vasan's mostly. It's about my Russian English. So please.
You're from Russia.
Yes, Gerard, would you like to answer
Okay.
this question?
Okay, clarify the question for me, please, in order to answer.
Okay, the question is, let me read it. Which zone are you more comfortable in? The learning zone or the performance zone?
Sorry?
And Leila just have you heard Leila explaining what are these zones are? Sorry for that English. Leila just explained to us about these zones, learning zone and performance zone. Do you understand it?
That learning zone is the period in which we are learning what to do in our future job or parenting stuff or creative hobbies. So what I'm thinking is that as a teacher, I have learned a lot of things about methodology, how to deal with the students, what to do and what not to do in the classroom. And the performing zone is a bit more difficult because you should practice what you are learning or what you have learned. So I think both zones are very important because it is like theory and practice things for me. But learning zone or learning is a lifelong process to my mind. I think it's the same for everybody.
Let's ask. Gerard, what about you? Which zone do you like?
I like better the learning zone because I want to learn every day new things. And I need to, and most of us need to, because you have a job, you always need to adapt to new knowledge, new technology. We need new skills. Otherwise, we could lose our jobs. Especially in your case, an IT guy needs constantly to learn new things. So
thank you. You think too good about me too. And I see that Sergey joined back from another account. Sergey, what about your mic now?
Yes, do you hear me now?
Yes, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
You look different, Sergey.
I use my wife account.
Yeah, we figured that.
Because my laptop is broken.
Yeah.
It's abnormal for me. And I thought about your questions because this topic is very interesting for me because this topic is like a PDCA cycle for Deming. We learn this PDCA cycle about our work. PDCA we understand this plan, do, check and action. This is like this topic, and after about your questions, what do you prefer, learning zone and performance zone? After teenager time, we live into complex performing and learning zone, and I can't to separate this zone.
Why not? For me, it's easy.
It's easy, it's formal, but we permanently learning every day. We permanently performing every day, and we complex these zones.
Okay, only one short question. Why you mentioned teenager age? For me, children and teenagers learn more, so they performing and learn at the same time.
I think that's children and teenager permanently learning more than performing. Performance, that's additional action for learning.
Okay. Let's ask Diana. You know, she works with children. Maybe she will enlighten us. Diana.
Okay. What about? Should I enlighten you?
Let's start from the original question.
Okay.
Mhm.
Which zone am I more comfortable in?
Right.
As Leila said, in our profession, I think that we cannot separate those two zones that easily, because we're checking and double checking the information all the time, starting to learn something new. And, I'm just learning new words every day. It's like a part of my routine now. So is it performing or is it learning for me? So, okay, kind of, we are learning all the time, like as a teacher. I think a good teacher should do that all the time. But I think that actually in the performing zone, I am more, I don't know how to explain that, but probably it's just like the easier zone for me. Because you just get used to certain ways, right? You get used to the certain things that you are doing over and over and over again. It's kind of automatic, and sometimes it gets boring, as Vasant said, and I agree with that. It can be boring, yeah. So learning kind of helps us to not to get into that routine, but well, I think for teachers it is like interrelated kind of thing.
Okay, what about children? Do you think they performing or learning or together?
Actually, there was a good point in this video, I guess. Maybe it was another video, but I'm just okay. The speaker said that unfortunately, in our schools, we create a kind of a performing environment for our children when they are afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable in the learning process, right? So, but in our schools, we kind of stigmatize the mistakes, and we expect children to do like to have excellent results, and if they have these excellent results, they get good grades, and if they don't, they fail the tests, whatever. So. That's a problem. Because kids are not ready to test, to test the knowledge. They want to give the best possible result, the right answer. So kind of performing environment when it is supposed to be learning environment.
Okay. Gerard?
The problem of being in the learning zone is when we want to learn something that we really don't like to, So we want to force ourselves to learn something, like some people do with, for instance, learning English. Without motivation, it's very difficult being in the learning zone.
Yes.
Yeah, and motivation actually is like the hardest struggle, right? Because.
Okay, let me read the question again. Which zone are more comfortable in the learning zone or the performing zone? So we will asking about which zone you are more comfortable in, and you all comfortable with the learning zone. I can believe, because I'm comfortable in performing zone mostly. So the learning zone is always about crossing the line. It's always about being in an uncomfortable position or something like that. So you surprised me. You all.
No, but if you are learning something that you really like to learn, you are comfortable in the zone. The problem is when you force yourself to learn something you really don't like.
Okay. Let's go to another question. Lynn, while you are here, can you choose another question?
I don't know.
Do you have a list?
Questions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was disconnected, so I don't know which.
We just finished the first. We just finished the first question about which zone you are more comfortable, and you can choose another one. If
So
you have
I
a list.
choose mine.
Okay.
Should we give equal time for learning and performing?
And what do you think?
I don't think it's quite possible to give equal time. More impossible to give because we have our daily work. Salary, so have time for learning.
Okay. But why should we care? Is the time equal or not? What if it's 40 to 60? Is it better? Is it worse? How to measure that?
Sandra said we should give more time for learning, right? But I don't practical because we are usually absorbed in our work, and we have to give much of our time to our daily job.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if Diana, please.
Well, I think that we are actually going back and forth, yeah, like between those zones. So we learn something, like we study at the universities, colleges, whenever. Then we go and get our jobs and we practice, yeah, the skills that we've learned. Then we realize that we probably do not perform in a best possible way. So we need to get back to learning. So, and then we learn again, and then we get back to the performance zone and try out everything that we've just learned. So I don't think that some proportion should be, followed or anything. So if you feel the need, you can get to the learning zone again. If you need to try it out, you go to the performance zone and try it out, and try to minimize the mistakes, as the speaker told us. So that's how it works, I guess.
Should we think about it? Should we think about it? We don't think about keep breathing. We just breathe. So why we should think about it?
Learning is like breathing to you, Ivan. Oh my goodness.
No, my point was different. My point was different.
Okay.
When you perform and find an error, you just go to learn naturally. You don't think about that. Okay, how many % of my week I spend to learning? It's too low. Let me go learn.
I don't think it is so natural to everyone, Ivan. I think that some people can live with mistakes. They just do not really care. So it is not natural to them. If it does not affect their performing, that much. So why to bother and learn something? I told you, I've seen a lot of people who are doing that, staying in that performing zone and never learning, and they just don't want to do that. You told us that you need to reach that zone, yes, when you are completely satisfied and quit learning whatsoever. So why did you say so?
Okay, anyone else?
I'll add something. Learning and performing, you have to learn before you can perform.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learn your job adequately, there's not a lot of motivation to continue learning. It's just up to you, unless your performance needs to change. Like Diana said, I think if you get some new software or a new task, now you can't perform it, so you have to go back into the learning mode to learn that new task. And once you bring your performance up to that level, you stop learning again. So sometimes your need to perform better or new tasks forces you to go back into learning. Otherwise, if your performing level never needs to change, most people won't go back into learning. Now, my job is unique because I travel from plant to plant. I'm hired for what I know already with no learning required. So when I go to a new plant, I can immediately perform to some level. However, like cars and countries, every nuclear plant is different. So when I go to a nuclear plant, I have the knowledge of up here, but I don't know their tools, their software, their system, their organization, their document control system. So I have to immediately shift into learning mode in order to use my knowledge to perform. And I don't have time to not do any work for 2 weeks while I'm learning the new systems. So I have to learn and perform simultaneously. So sometimes it's hard to separate them because you don't have the time to just sit and learn because they want product every day. So I have to learn and perform. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Learn. Okay, I can do that. Perform. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Learn. And I have to go back and forth and learn and perform simultaneously in my kind of work. So it depends on the kind of work you do. If you're a clerk and you operate a cash register, McDonald's people are probably trained in 10 minutes to push the buttons on the cash register. And if you've ever gone to McDonald's, half the time they still don't know what to do. I need a manager, you know. So it depends on the job and how often the performance needs to change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Gerard mentioned IT industry, and for IT industry, that approach is very natural thing. We always doing something new, and we never think about it's like learning. It's our performance. We always do that, having mistakes and go over that, and there are no dedicated zone for learning. It's how we call, usually help me, how we call a thing which is, you know, dual, yin, yang, and so on, contain from two equal parts. Anything about that? Like, you know, Chinese yin and yang.
Oh, we say complementary.
Okay, so for me it's complementary. For me, learning and performance in IT is something like that. You cannot step into one zone, not stepping into another. It's all the same.
Yep.
Okay, Leila, please choose a question.
Okay. What about your question? The third one, Ivan. How many years a caveman had to spend to be able to live in performance zone? How many years we spent now? How long would it be soon?
What do you think?
Nothing. Okay. What I thought that when I first read your question, I just think that the modern human body evolved over millions of years and developed to deal with problems. Their brain developed a lot. This is not something that I'm, you know, just looking down on the caveman, but are at a stage where we could do a lot of things using our brain because we have learned how to use our brain. So a caveman should spend a lot of time. Ivan, I love the question a lot. But there are a lot of cavemen here, so.
Well, actually, for this question, what makes me to write this question? I read that, you know, 100 years ago, a 5-year children is already a good supporter for a family. He or she probably can do everything what he or she needs. In 5 years, he can, you know, walk some farmer's walk with animal, and that's enough. Now it seems for me that people learning for 40 years and then come to point to perform something. So it's long. Please, Leila.
I was just going to add that I watched the film and I just saw that they learned by themselves how to set up fire. So they were using their instinct. But what I'm thinking is that if you learn something by yourself, then you will never forget it. I don't know, you know, how to compare with a caveman and a modern man. But what I'm thinking is that if we learn how to use our brain, then it helps us a lot.
I think our brain wouldn't help us to, to fight against the predators or something, the things
no
that
way.
cavemen were, doing every day. So the environment is absolutely different. The tasks are absolutely different now. So we have these complex tasks we need to do at our work. I mean, I read a book about. There was a book about Native American boy who actually at the age of 5 they were taken. It's the same that you are saying, Ivan. At the age of 5 they were taken from their mothers. Before that they were just kids, like kids. So at 5 they were taken to the wood, and this is North America, Canada, modern Canada. So they were taken from the families and they lived in the woods in winter, and they were hunting actually to get some food, otherwise nothing to eat. So they had to do that. They had to get those skills really, really quick. I mean, so our environment actually dictates to us which skills should be acquired first and how quick they should be acquired. So if you don't need to hunt for food, so you will never develop that skill.
So basically, if you don't need to hunt for food, you can read English literature,
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about Shakespeare and philosophy, right? Count stars.
Okay. To fill your life with something, right?
Right.
Okay, and because it's getting boring and boring each year, we need to learn more, right?
Something new, I would say. How to type on the tiny mobile phone screen, for example. That's a skill. I cannot do that, but young children, they are very quick at that, so they can do that.
Okay. So it's all about circumstances. Okay, I agree actually. And but my point was almost the same. What you said, it's all about circumstances. And caveman, he or she needs supporters immediately. So
Yeah.
They can't wait 40 years before the girl or boy become an expert in hunting. It's no.
Actually, they lived up to 35, I guess. That was their lifespan.
Yes, it's a lucky two in a family,
Very, very old at 40.
Right. Yeah. So I agree. It's all about circumstances, but we can see the trend.
Yeah.
And it looks for me that in a near future, people will not have time for performing. Because they will learn what they need just in time to retirement. How it seems to me.
Yeah,
so
you're such an optimist. Okay.
Sergey, what do you think about that?
Honestly, I don't understand these questions.
Okay. So I don't know. Let's do another way. So choose another one then.
Choose another questions.
Please.
First questions. Do you know what's a compound person? Why it's important? Then it's a lot of numbers. I don't understand how.
Yeah, Ivan, I was going to ask you about that one. What is that about?
Sergey, can you explain? Can you explain it to us?
I like these questions because I saw this motivation point. It's motivation картинка, motivation
picture.
Yes, motivation picture about your hard work. You should work more harder than other people, and you can reach a success situation, because differently between losers and luckers, it's a small 1 mile, small distance. And this is small distance, and you should go to the learn zone when you want to the sleep, and you want to the walking, but you should learning and learning, and after that you should perform this and use this knowledge.
Well, looks like you know the answer. You answer it. So, what makes me to write this question? Well, I'm not sure if I provide the right terms. So teacher Lee will correct me if I do a mistake. But compound percent, it's a term from finance sphere, from banks, and it's mean then each new percent is calculated using all the sum with previous persons. I don't know, is it understandable or not? For instance, if you have $100 in your bank account, on next month it's $101, and the next person will calculating on this sum, on new sum. And simple mathematics, simple math show us then if you're doing 1% more for a year, 1% each day, during an year, you will have 37 times more. So it's this equation 101 degree, how it's called, 365 is 37. It means that $1 in bank will become to $37, which these circumstances. So it's mean if you learn each day something new, 1%, you will far away. If you losing 1%, each day, playing poker instead, learn what I always do, you will reach you will reach the point 0 or 2 in 1 year. So it's all about compound percent, and it's often used for motivation pictures, as Sergey mentioned.
Okay.
Actually, can you explain that, in better way?
I think you did a pretty good idea. The point is a small increment every day will give you a big result over time than if you do nothing and then do a big, maybe a small change, and do nothing and do a small change. The more often you increment, the larger the final result. So it's better to learn a little bit every day than study 1 day a week or something like that. You don't get the full benefit.
Right, and these numbers is really astonishing. When you when you show it to people who never calculated that, it's 47 times. It's a lot. Please, Vasant.
Yeah.
The one more benefit of doing this practice every day is it becomes a habit rather than a practice. So when you're doing this every day, so for you are learning languages in Duolingo website, so it gives you a streak points. So I do this, I follow this streak every day, each day 20 points, and it became like a everyday habit. I cannot just let it down for a day. So I keep that every day. So it becomes a habit.
That's called addiction, Vasant. Or obsession, okay. I would say. With prize.
Okay. What do you think? We finished with that one? Diana, would you like to choose another one or add something?
Okay, actually, I wanted to ask you my question. I didn't put it there, but I am really interested in that. So we're talking about learning and practicing mode in our careers, yes, in our professional life. But the speaker mentioned also the very important spheres in our life, as like being a good parents, being a good spouses, whatever. So what is the learning mode over there? What is the performing mode over there? Do we have this trial and error thing over there? So sometimes those trial and error can be kind of, it can hurt, especially with spouses. It can hurt hard. So what do you think about that? How do we learn in these like personal things, personal spheres?
Okay. Let's ask Sergey. Sergey, how do you learn in your personal life? It's a secret. We will never know.
We'll never know. Top secret. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else? Yana, we cannot answer. Nobody knows.
Nobody. Oh my goodness. Yes.
So it's a good chance for you to invite us.
Social interactions are a different animal because you're not really performing to any particular standard. You say something, someone gets angry. You say, okay, for this person, don't say that anymore, but this person may not care. So it's not so, a social environment, I don't think this really fits as much because you're constantly going back and forth. If you see a positive response, then you say, okay, I'm doing the right performance. If you see a negative response, don't do that performance again. So that's more the reinforcement, negative and positive reinforcement in a social environment. Mm-hmm. It's learning and performing, but not in the sense that we normally think about it. So I think that's a different animal.
Mm-hmm. Leila?
I was going to say by making mistakes, Diane.
Well, okay.
Well, I would like to add by making mistakes and get punishment.
No.
So many men knows many right numbers about delay to answer to your wife and so on, and it's all experimental way. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that. Gerard, are you here? No. Gerard, please choose another question. Okay. Teacher Lee, please. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I just wanted to add one more thing. What we're talking about in these social interactions is society. And in society, your learning phase is when you're growing up and your parents teach you to be polite, to say please and thank you. So in general, social interactions, I think we need to look at the scope of growing up in a society. Your learning phase is when you're a kid. By the time you're 18, you've learned how to act like an adult. So at some point, you don't really stop learning forever, but your learning phase is when you're a kid, and when you're an adult, you're in the performance phase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about the term soft skill? Gerard, I'm sorry, a few more moments. What is soft skills, Teacher Lee? Can you explain us? If you know.
Soft skills is just what I mentioned. It's how to communicate, how to read body language. Mm-hmm. It's things that aren't really scientific, but they're more learned and tweaked, fine-tuned to give a good performance. In the nuclear business, soft skills are three-way communications, how to communicate clearly without any errors, how to stop and think, how to pre-plan. Those are kind of soft skills. They're not something that you can learn, like that. They're just things, trial and error learning, really.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I asked that because in IT industry we have a lot of computer nerds, and bosses have a lot of problems with that. They cannot communicate. They don't want that. They need to wash yourself each week or something like that. So it's a hard thing to deal with them, and that's why in many vacancies, for many job offers, we have now a special point that candidate should have soft skills like that. I forgot the right phrase, but like something like that.
Oh, but it can differ from person to person. You know, one person is stronger in one soft skill or whatever it is. You know, it's just like too general. I don't know.
Probably there are some standards. I don't know. You know, like wash your hand each week. You know,
each week. Brush your teeth once a month.
Like that. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Gerard, sorry for that. Please, your question.
Okay, I'm going to answer Leila's question. What do you usually do to make your days more meaningful?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's related to our topic. I think it's important learning new things, but not only related to our job, but related to our world in general, to get some culture. Because nowadays in college, people learn things about a specific job. And in the past, being in college meant that having a very good general knowledge of everything. So it's not just a person who has a degree, a college degree, doesn't mean that this person has a very high cultural level. And I think it's important for our lives knowing many things about everything, because if it's not related with our job, they are going to be useful for us all the same.
Well, I understand that, but in the same time, I think that we overcame that point when we were able to know more, or to know a lot of our world, because it's too complicated, too many what is it? Too many angles of view, too many cultures, and so on. So you can be kind of smart person in your place, but moving through the border makes you totally nerd. Like that. So anyone for Leila's question? Vasans, what do you usually do to make your days more meaningful?
Actually, I don't understand the exact point of the meaningful, the word meaningful, but I hope my answer comes under that question. Helping the others can be the answer. Even in your work, or it's a stranger or whatever, doing some helping others can add some meaning to your day. It will keep your day warmer and happy.
That's a good answer. I like that.
Okay. Well, answering this question, if meaningful is about more meaning in a day, what I'm trying to do, I am trying to forget about the work for some time and do something else. Do something with my children, and it's not always about learning. It can be about enjoyment, about some entertainment, and it works for me. So I don't care if I don't learn something in this particular day. I don't have this obsession. Sorry. Okay, Leila, would you like to answer your question?
I just thought that if I just try to be positive and make my day a bit better than the other days, I could perform better. I can learn better, and it was proven that if you are happy, if you are relaxed, then you can learn a lot. So that's my question is, I just want to ask this. If you get up in an angry mood, or if you are tense, could you perform well? Could you learn well? This is a kind of teacher's point of view, I guess.
It's a good question. I agree. It's a good question.
Mhm.
And I have seen both points of view on that. My former boss told me that something like, "We are professionals. We don't care about your mood. We're doing our works as well as we can each day."
Mhm.
And it's a good point. It's a good point, and I agree. I try to do that, and sometimes it works. You just starting to work and doing what you're doing. And on another job, I have seen another approach. If you are in bad mood, if you can concentrate, your boss send you home. Just
Oh, wonderful.
don't be there. You are doing nonsense. You distract other people. Just go home, solve your problem, and return back tomorrow, like that. And it's worked too, which is strange. So both approach is seems good for me, and I don't know which one is correct. If it can say so, correct. Sergey, so now you know the question. Can you answer?
Yes, if you talk about predictive days, I try to work with headphone because my colleague permanently talk with me and tell me other story, and I try to work about big task, and I separate my work days for 2 hours for each for one task, because if I try multitask and I make a lot of mistakes with my works, and it's badly for me and badly for my boss. And if I work about one task a long time, I can to concentrate about this, and I like result my works.
Okay, so no multitasking, some kind of time management, and please spend next 2 hours on your mic, please. We request that.
Yes, put it down into your schedule. Your next task is your mic.
Okay, if it's possible. And because of all this disconnection and connection, I lost the order of questions. Is everyone asked already? Teacher Lee, please. You're muted, Teacher Lee.
I'd like to say one more thing on this topic of making your day more meaningful. A good example, a teacher's axiom is you have to stop and sharpen your tools. You have to sharpen your axe sometimes. And let me give you a good analogy. You have two people. They both have an axe, and they chop down trees. So both of them start chopping down trees at the beginning of the morning. Okay, after a few hours, the axes are dull. They don't cut anymore. One guy just continues cutting, and because his axe is dull, it takes him 3 times longer to cut down one tree. The other guy stops cutting and spends an hour sharpening his axe. And now he can chop down a tree in half the time. So even though he stops during the day to sharpen his axe, because when he starts performing, he performs faster, he ends up working less than the other guy and yet cutting down more trees, because he took the time to learn to stop and sharpen his axe so he could perform better and more efficiently and more productively. So the point is, if you perform, and you never stop to learn so that you can perform better, or at least maintain a high level of performance, then you're going to lose in the long run. So it's important to learn sometimes, to stop and learn to improve your performance. As Ivan said, even a little bit, then that little higher level of performance that you gain from stopping to learn makes a big difference in the long run.
Yes, thank you. Very, very, very good story. And our time is over, but we can prolong this class for the next time if we want, because we have a lot of questions, but I think we will choose something better. So thank you very much for coming and for answering for this discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You.
Bye bye.